There are many creatures in Native American folklore, but few are as feared as the raven mocker. This isn't just a monster, it's a predator that feeds on the dying, stealing their last breaths. Tonight, I'll tell you the terrifying story of a family who discovered just how deadly this creature can be. The raven mocker, or Kalona Ayaleski in Cherokee, is a shape-shifting spirit that preys on the sick and dying. It doesn't just take life, it devours it, adding stolen years to its own existence. This story begins with a young woman named Eliza, who had returned to her family's cabin deep in the Appalachian Mountains to care for her ailing grandfather, Amos. He had been bedridden for weeks, his health rapidly deteriorating. One cold, moonless night, as Eliza sat by Amos's bedside, she heard something outside. A faint rustling at first, then a low, guttural croak. She froze. The sound wasn't natural. It was too deep, too deliberate. Her grandmother's words echoed in her mind. When you hear the wings at night, it's already too late. Eliza crept to the window, her breath fogging the glass. That's when she saw it, perched on a low branch as a creature unlike anything she'd ever imagined. Its body was twisted and gaunt, its flesh stretched too tightly over its bones. The face? Oh, the face. It was barely human, with hollowed-out eyes that burned like red embers. Its mouth was long and jagged like a bird's beak, but dripping with something black and viscous. The creature's arms were grotesquely elongated, ending in talons that scraped against the tree bark, with a sound that made her teeth ache. And its wings? They were leathery, bat-like, and far too large for its emaciated frame. As it moved, its joints cracked loudly, as if its body was breaking just to function. Eliza stumbled back from the window, her heart pounding. She tried to convince herself it was a hallucination, but then came the sound. The scratching at the walls, slow, deliberate. The creature was circling the cabin, dragging its talons along the wood, its raspy breath audible through the thin walls. Eliza grabbed a knife from the table, her hands trembling. She glanced at her grandfather, who was now gasping for air, his chest heaving as if something invisible was pressing down on him. When she turned back, the creature was inside. It stood over her grandfather's bed, the wings itself half unfurled, dripping with black ichor. Its fingers, impossibly long and bony, pressed into Amos's chest as if trying to rip something out of him. Eliza screamed, and the creature turned to face her. Its eyes glowed brighter, its mouth opening wider than any human jaw should, revealing rows of jagged, needle-like teeth. It let out a sound, a mix between a raven's caw and human wails, that froze her blood in her veins. Eliza lunged at the creature, slashing with the knife. Her blade sliced through its translucent, almost decayed skin, and it shrieked again, a sound so piercing it felt like it was splitting her skull. The raven marker burst into a cloud of black feathers and ash, disappearing into the shadows. Her grandfather gasped, his breathing stabilizing for the first time in days. But the scratches on the window and the bloodied feathers on the floor were proof it wasn't over. The raven mocker doesn't give up its prey easily. Legends say that even if it's driven away, it will always return for the life it was denied. Eliza and her grandfather left the cabin the next morning. But no matter how far they ran, she swore she could still hear the wings in the night. So, what would you do if a raven mocker came for someone you loved? Let me know in the comments and follow for more terrifying tales.